Hey everybody, Ed Berger from the TackleDirect Pro Staff. You know, I've told you before, I'm a pretty avid surf fisherman. You know, for years, I've been throwing swimming plugs like this Cotton Cordell Redfin. Redfin's been one of my special favorite plugs for a year. I probably caught more stripers and bluefish on Redfins than any other plug except for, you know, maybe a Whirlpool Bomber. I like the chicken scratch ones, I like the yellow ones, but when I'm on the rocks and I'm on the surf, I mean, a lot of the times the problem is that these are basically floating plugs. And you know, we brought the portable ocean with us here today, so I can show you. I mean, these things sit, they're full of air, and can you get that, Rob? Can you see how it's floating in the water? They sit really high in the water. And one of the problems with that is, well, the good part is if you slow roll them, they make a great wake. The bad part is if you have to throw them into the wind, you're out of luck. I mean, because they just simply don't have enough weight to them. So when a redfin comes out of the box, there are a couple things that I like to do first. First, I get rid of all the hardware on it, right? The split rings and the treble hooks. I mean, I love the plug, but the split rings and the treble hooks both have to be replaced. Now, I like two different kinds of split rings. I like the owner split rings, and it's got a few miles on this one. I like the owner split rings, and I like the Wolverines. I don't necessarily have to go for the triples, doubles are fine on a plug like this. And I replace them, the hooks that are on here, with VMC 4X, and I think these are probably 1.0s, 4X 1.0s. They're a much better hook, a much heavier duty hook. They do a great job of constructing the body of this, but they really don't do a great job of providing you with hardware. So that's the first thing you got to do is you got to switch it out. I don't think I need to show you, you know, how to get a pair of split ring pliers and switch hooks. But there is something else that I like to do when I buy a new redfin. I like to load it, and what that means is we're going to increase the weight of the lure overall. We still want it to be able to float, but and leave that great wake in the top water, but we want to give it a little bit more weight so it's castable. It's a little bit more castable if you're throwing into the surf, if you're throwing into wind. And it's a pretty easy process. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this redfin, and I have a paper clip and a cigarette lighter, and don't be dumb, use a pair of pliers because it gets hot. And we're going to heat up the tip of the clip. And we're going to punch a hole in the top of the redfin. Now, some of the guys will tell you that you need to do it further on the back, you do it further to the front. I don't really care where I put the hole. It doesn't really matter. It's on the top of the plug, all right? But if you get this so it's good and hot, just like my thumb is getting from keeping this lighter lit too long, if you get it good and hot, you can push it right into the plastic here, and you'll be able to make a hole. See? And it really only has to be big enough to fit the tip of a, I'll borrow the ocean here for a second. It really only needs to be big enough to fit the tip of a real syringe into it. Now, boys and girls, I left my real syringe at home on my workbench, so I stopped at CVS this morning, the drugstore around the corner, and said, "Pardon me, can I have a syringe?" They immediately checked my arms for track marks and said that I'm sorry, I can't give you one, you know, without a prescription. So I'm stuck with this little baby syringe, and I may be squirting some oil all over the place here. Oh, by the way, I don't fill these with water. It's not a great idea to load your plugs with water because of two reasons. First of all, if there is any compromise in here, the water is going to evaporate. And secondly, this hardware internally, if you put water in there and seal it up, can rust, and it'll weaken it. So I like to use mineral oil as opposed to using water. They did have that at CVS. They would sell me the mineral water, the mineral oil, but they wouldn't sell me the syringe. I don't understand why. Now, I found that about 10 cc's, which is I think just about this whole thing, about 10 cc's of mineral oil is about the right amount, and you can check it by the same way I'm checking it. I really am going to make a mess here because I don't think I made the hole big enough for this. Yeah, I'm leaking a little bit. About 10 cc's of oil is about the right amount to put in here. You may have to trust me on this a little bit. I want to drill a bigger hole in it. And you can check it as you're starting to do it. See now, well, right away you can see that red fin is starting to sit a little bit better in the back. Try and squirt some in there, see what happens. As you can see now, again, I just loaded a little bit more. Do you see the difference? Essentially what you want to do is you want to load enough, and I'm starting to get a little messy here and oily. Yeah, the syringe really would have done the trick. A little messy and oily, but you want to do it enough so the red fin is almost sitting at a 45-degree angle, okay? So, I mean, there you can see, I mean, there's a visible difference. That difference in weight is going to make all the difference in the world when you're going to try and throw this into the wind a little bit. So now I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit here, if you don't mind. There's the whole question now of how do you seal the top where you punch this hole. Really not that hard. I'll show you. I do it on the outside here and continue to make a mess of the TackleDirect showroom. Again, you can take your pliers and your paper clip, heat it up, get it nice and hot, and you could just work that right over the top and use the same plastic that the lure is made out of to close up this hole. Now, because I use oil and I really don't want to make too much of a mess, and you can just see we're going to take this and we're going to seal this up like that. Just melt the plastic right back over the top of it. Works pretty good. Seals it up. For me, just to be safe, and I will tell you that, I mean, it really is sealed. I've done just that. But just to be safe, it's always great to I take some of my favorite stuff in the world. I take a little crazy glue, super glue, Loctite super glue, whatever the heck you want to call it. And I'll take it and I will just put a little drop on top. Swirl it around a little bit and make sure that that hole is 100% closed. So basically what you've done is you've taken what is maybe one of the best swimming plugs there is, you've replaced the hardware on it because it doesn't come with great hardware, and now you've loaded it up so you can still work it slow on top. It still will give you that nice S pattern when you slow roll it on top, but you've got a little bit more chance of being able to get it out there when you're throwing it into the wind. Now you can do it with a red fin, you can do it with a bomber. There's a wide variety of plastic body plugs that are being made today. Some of the Super Strikes, if they're hollow, if you want to put a little bit more weight into them, this is the way you do it. Little punch hole in the top, little syringe, go for the mineral oil. Hey, there's other uses for it. I don't want to talk about them now. There's other uses. Use the mineral oil to fill them up. The other good thing is with the mineral oil is if you have them in your plug bag or if you have them in your sack and you see you're getting a little bit of a leak, I mean, you can feel it. You'll feel the oil as opposed to just water, which would evaporate. So it's there for you. A great strategy, another great tip from us at TackleDirect. If you have any questions on this or anything else that you've seen on our video library, talk to one of our product specialists here at TackleDirect. The number's on your screen. Of course, you can shop 24/7 at TackleDirect.com, or if you happen to be up in the Northeast, just a couple minutes off, exit 36 of the Garden State Parkway in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. I kid you not, this is the finest tackle shop that you will ever walk into. I'm Berger, TackleDirect Pro Staff, Surf Guy. See you out on the beach.